Have you ever wondered why some people suddenly disappear from your life? Maybe a friendship ended. Maybe someone you trusted walked away. Maybe a relationship you prayed for didn't last. And you asked yourself a painful question. God, why did this happen? For many believers, one of the hardest things to accept is that sometimes God Himself allows people to leave our lives. Not because He does not love us, not because we failed, but because He is protecting our purpose. Take a moment and think about this. Every person who enters your life influences you in some way. They influence your thoughts, your decisions, your values, your spiritual direction. Some people push you closer to God. Others slowly pull you away from Him. And sometimes the difference is so subtle that we do not notice it at first. You may begin a friendship that seems harmless. You enjoy conversations, you laugh together, you spend time together. But slowly, little by little, your priorities begin to change. You pray less, you read the Bible less, you feel less passion for God, and you may not even realize why. The truth is this: spiritual influence is powerful. The people around you shape your spiritual environment. That is why the Bible warns believers about the company they keep. In the book of 1 Corinthians, there is a powerful statement. Bad company corrupts good character. Notice what it does not say. It does not say bad company immediately destroys you. It says it corrupts you. Corruption is slow. It is gradual. It's like a drop of water falling on a rock again and again. At first, nothing seems to change, but over time, the rock begins to wear down. The same can happen in our spiritual lives. You can love God and still be surrounded by people who slowly weaken your faith. And sometimes, because we care about them, because we love them, we hold on tightly to those relationships. We say things like, I can change them. They will understand my faith eventually. I don't want to lose them. But there is something important we must understand. Not every relationship is part of God's assignment for your life. Some people are in your life for a season. Others are in your life for a lesson. And a few are in your life for a lifetime. But if we try to force a seasonal relationship to become permanent, we create pain for ourselves. Imagine you are walking on a road with God. He has a destination for you, a purpose, a calling. But the people walking with you are not all going in the same direction. Some are moving forward with you. Others are slowly pulling you backward. If you hold their hand too tightly, you will struggle to move forward. Sometimes God sees something we cannot see. He sees where a relationship is leading. He sees the future consequences. He sees how a person's influence could affect your destiny. And because He loves you, He intervenes. Not always in dramatic ways. Sometimes it happens quietly. A friendship becomes distant. A relationship loses its closeness. People who once felt very close begin to drift away. And in those moments, it is easy to feel hurt. You may think, did I do something wrong? Why did this person leave? Why did this relationship end? But the truth is this: God removed them because they could not go where He is taking you. This does not mean the person was evil. It does not mean they were a bad human being. It simply means their path and your path were different. Think about the life of Abraham. When God called Abraham, He asked him to leave his homeland and follow Him to a new place. God was preparing Abraham for something great, a new nation, a powerful promise, a divine covenant. But before that promise could unfold, Abraham had to leave familiar people and environments. God sometimes asks us to step away from certain influences because our environment shapes our future. Another powerful example is the story of Joseph. Joseph had dreams from God, dreams about leadership and destiny. But the people closest to him, his own brothers, rejected him. They mocked him. They betrayed him. They even sold him into slavery. At first glance, it looked like Joseph lost everything. He lost his family, his comfort, his security. But in reality, God was moving Joseph toward his purpose. Those painful separations were part of a greater plan. Years later, Joseph became a powerful leader in Egypt, and through him, God saved many lives. Sometimes what looks like rejection is actually redirection. What looks like loss is actually preparation. God sees the entire story, while we only see one chapter. Another reason God removes people from our lives is because He wants us to depend on Him more deeply. Human relationships can sometimes become our emotional foundation. We rely on people for encouragement, for identity, for validation. But if our security depends too much on people, our faith becomes fragile. People change, people make mistakes, people leave, but God remains constant. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When certain people leave our lives, it can create a spiritual space. At first, that space feels empty, but that emptiness often becomes the place where God draws us closer to Himself. Suddenly, you pray more, you reflect more, you search for God more deeply. What once felt like loneliness becomes a moment of spiritual growth. Sometimes God removes voices from our lives so that we can finally hear His voice clearly. There is another important truth many people struggle to accept. Some relationships cannot grow because one person is moving toward God while the other is moving away from Him. Imagine two people walking together. If one person begins walking north and the other walks south, the distance between them will naturally increase. The more you grow spiritually, the more certain relationships may change. Your values change, your priorities change, your desires change. You begin to care more about truth, character, and purpose. And sometimes the people around you may not understand that transformation. They may even criticize it. They may say things like, "You have changed. You are too serious about faith. You are different now." And the truth is, they are right. You have changed. Because when someone truly follows Jesus Christ, transformation happens. Your heart becomes different. Your desires become different. Your direction becomes different. And not everyone will feel comfortable walking that path with you. Sometimes people leave because your growth challenges their comfort. Your commitment to God may make them uncomfortable about their own choices. And instead of growing with you, they step away. But here is something important to remember. When God removes certain people from your life, He is not leaving you alone. He is often making room for new relationships. People who will strengthen your faith, people who will support your calling, people who will encourage your spiritual growth. God often replaces draining relationships with life-giving ones. Instead of people who pull you away from God, He brings people who walk with you toward Him. These relationships become sources of encouragement. You pray together, you learn together, you grow together, and your faith becomes stronger. But for that to happen, sometimes space must be created first. Another reason God removes people from your life is to protect your heart. Not every person who enters your life carries pure intentions. Some people bring confusion, others bring negativity, some bring temptation. God knows the condition of every heart. He sees motivations that we cannot see. He understands dangers we cannot recognize yet. And because He loves us deeply, He sometimes closes doors we desperately want to keep open. In the moment, it may feel painful, but later we often look back and say something powerful. Now I understand why that relationship ended. Now I see what God was protecting me from. Many believers have experienced this moment. At first, they felt rejected, but later they realized they were actually rescued. And this leads to an important spiritual lesson. When someone leaves your life, do not immediately assume your life is becoming worse. Sometimes your life is actually becoming healthier, wiser, and more aligned with God's purpose. Instead of asking only one question, why did they leave? Try asking another question. What is God teaching me in this moment? Because every season carries a lesson. Some seasons teach us patience, others teach us wisdom, others teach us emotional strength, and some teach us how to let go. Letting go is not always easy, especially when we love people. But sometimes love means accepting that someone cannot continue the journey with us, and that is okay. Because the most important relationship in your life is not with any human being, it is your relationship with God. When that relationship is strong, you can face change without losing your peace. You can experience loss without losing your faith. You can walk forward even when the road feels uncertain, because you know you are not walking alone. God is guiding your steps, and every door He closes is part of His wisdom. Every separation carries a purpose. Every change moves you closer to the person He is shaping you to become. So if someone has recently left your life, do not let bitterness fill your heart. Do not let resentment control your thoughts. Instead, bring your emotions honestly to God. Pray, reflect, ask Him to reveal what He wants to teach you. Sometimes the greatest growth in our lives happens after certain people are gone, because in that new space, God begins to work more deeply in our hearts. He refines our character, He strengthens our faith, He prepares us for new opportunities. And one day, you may look back at this moment and realize something powerful. What once felt like loss was actually divine direction. What once felt like rejection was actually God's protection, and what once felt like loneliness became the place where your relationship with God grew stronger than ever before. Because when God removes people from your life, He is not taking something away without purpose. He is shaping your future. He is protecting your heart. He is guiding your path. And sometimes He is simply making sure that the people walking beside you are the ones who will help you become the person He created you to be.